Hello everyone, it's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me again for another Mystery Monday video. So today we are going to play with the Penguin Place stamp set. I actually don't remember now if I've done a video with this particular stamp, and I know it's super popular, and you can find it on page 33 of the mini catalog. So it's right here, and it's sold as a bundle with the Penguin Punch. Okay, now I know this punch has been on back order for a while, or the bundle has, but I believe it's going to be made available hopefully this coming week. So if any of you have been waiting for it, please check the website to make sure, and you can hopefully get your hands on that still before Christmas. Okay, so I have a really fun card that we are going to attempt to make today, and it is this one. So this one is called and uses the Give It a Whirl dies, which makes for a really great interactive spinner type card, and we all love interactive cards. Kids love them, adults love them just as much. So we are going to try to make a card with these dies, and we will see what we come up with. I'm going to switch this up just a little bit. I'm just going to add another layer of designer paper underneath, but you get the idea, and I'll show you how this mechanism all goes together, and hopefully it will turn out. I'm still kind of new with these set of dies. So these are the dies right here. So I think you get about 21 of them in the package, and this makes for your cover piece, and this is the piece we're going to use to make our little spinner. And then you have a whole bunch of little pieces here that you can use to decorate inside the spinner, as well as different ones that you can cut an opening out of. So I used this one here, which made this shape of opening kind of a pie shape, but there's also the choice of a heart or a circle. Actually, not this heart, because you want to make sure that you have this little circle piece with a hole attached. That makes for the piece you can use. And we also have a circle, so that circle and that heart. There are also some little arrow pieces here that you can use to stamp on to make it sort of show people the direction you want to spin. And there's also this horizontal rectangle kind of window that you can cut. So lots of different options, and if you choose to do the circle, there's also this piece that you can use to just sort of cover it up and give it a pretty little border on the front. So lots of different things you can do with these dies, and they're super fun. Okay, so I went ahead and prepared a couple pieces. So we are going to start with a piece of Just Jade cardstock as our base, and that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and I will post these measurements on the post, and so you can check back later if you're interested. Okay, and then I used some designer paper from the Penguin Playmates, I believe, designer series paper. It was a designer paper that was a celebration item, just this last celebration, August, September. And it was meant to coordinate with this set. So unfortunately, it's not available, but it is meant to coordinate with this stamp set. So it is double-sided, and it's super cute. So I'm just going to add a little layer of that underneath. I didn't on my original, but I wanted to try an extra layer and just see how I liked it. So I'm just going to put that here. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to get to our spinner. Okay, so when you cut out your spinner, you're just going to cut it out on a piece of basic white cardstock through your die cutting machine, okay? And it's going to come out like this. You're going to have a hole in the center. And I don't know if you can see it, I doubt it on here, but there are little impression lines where these bars are here, okay? So what a good idea might be, and the reason for these bars is that in here is where you can stamp or put designer paper for your images. So as you can see from this one, I did pencil marks. So I lined up, or when I took this out of the machine, I left this wheel on and I just used a pencil just to mark where these bars kind of are, so that when I go to stamp, I'll know I shouldn't really try to go too far over these bars or it'll impede my next window, okay? And we can erase those after. All right, so let's get to decorating this first. So I decided to do a little bit of stamping and also some cutting. So I did cut a couple of images out of the Penguin Place or Penguin Playmates. So this is a bigger picture of what some of them look like. So there's lots of little images you can fussy cut out if you would like to use them in your spinner. Okay. So let's start with a very simple one. And in the stamp set, we've got some great little images. Now, where did I put my stamp set? Here. So you can also use these images to stamp inside your spinner. So I'm going to start with a Season's Greetings. And I'm going to stamp that in Just Jade. And again, I'm going to try to stay in these lines as much as possible. And when you stamp or put your images on, make sure that they are all pointing inward. If you have the Season's Greetings this way, it's going to be backwards when you spin, okay? So make sure that you're doing them all facing towards you. Okay, so let's just put our Season's Greetings in the center. Okay, so in my next window, I did pre-cut from the DSP a little penguin on his toboggan. Now, he may go over the lines just a wee bit, but we'll see how that goes. I'm just going to bring out my silicone mat so I can put some adhesive on him and stick him down in the center of this wheel. Now, you can go a little bit towards the center where this hole is because you won't really see that so much. So I'm just going to put him about here. Whoops, and his hat. I did cut that apart and re-stick it on because otherwise his hat would have been out of the picture totally. Okay, so we'll leave him there. And then on our third one, I cut out a snowman from that DSP, but I also want to stamp a couple of trees behind him. So let me just get a block for those. And there is a tree in the stamp set. So I'm just going to randomly stamp on here a couple of trees to go behind and the side of my snowman. And if some of them get cut off a little bit, I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so there is our tree, and now we can attach our little snowman in here. Maybe, oh, I guess I'll cover up that tree. I didn't plan that very well, but that's okay. We can shift him a little bit too if we need to. Okay, so let's put our snowman on. Okay, so he does, oh, I didn't plan that tree very well. Oh well, that's okay. Okay, so now basically we've decorated what we want to decorate. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to assemble this spinner and get him put on top of this layer. So we also have a piece that I cut out, whoops, with this die, which is where the whole of our spinner, like it's this DSP on top, so we can access the spinner here. So this piece, I also cut out a piece of the designer paper, and then I cut that out first, and then I had to decide on my window. So I decided to go with this pie-shaped one, and so I lined this little circle, this hole, up with the hole that happened when I cut out the DSP. And then I tacked this down just with a Post-it note so it wouldn't shift in the machine, okay? And when it came out, it left my window. And that's what you would do with the other shapes too. If you wanted to use the heart, for example, you would line up this hole with the hole in your paper and then cut it through. Now, you could position this heart to the side, to the center, or to the other side if you wanted, or you could make even possibly, I suppose, another window on this side, so you'd have two hearts here. And the same with the circle and the rectangle. You would line up this hole and then position it anywhere you wanted, stick it down with a Post-it note just to hold it in place and run it through. And that will create your little window, okay? So what we're going to do here is, just to help with the spinning, I cut just a random circle, or with your circle dies, or if you have an old circle punch, and you're just going to poke a little hole in the center because we're going to insert a brad. And we just want this to give it a little bit of extra room to help with the spin. So I took a brad from, whatever brad you have. I took one from our new round and square brads. And so you're going to, before I put that in, I am going to erase my pencil marks. I almost forgot. So yeah, once you've done your stamping or put on your paper, or however you decided to decorate, you're just going to erase those pencil marks so they don't show up when it comes time to spin. Okay, so just as best you can get those off. Some of it will be covered towards the center, but these outside lines will show up. So you want to just kind of erase those as best you can. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now we can insert our brad. So I'm going to insert it in the circle, and then I'm going to put this circle that we punched or die cut out on the back and open the brads and close it. Now you don't want to open the brad too tightly, otherwise it may inhibit the spin, but just so it has a little bit of give, okay? I think this might be a little bit close here, I'm looking now, but I wonder if I could reposition this guy. Without ripping him too badly. Or I could just cut off a little bit of his sled, I suppose. I just think he might run into the window a little bit too much. So let's just trim off part of his sled and see what happens. Okay, or I could have maybe not stamped this tree here. Good idea. Maybe it didn't execute quite as like I thought it would. Okay. All right, so now we have our brad. Now you'll notice there's this hole in our DSP. You could put the brad through there, but I really didn't want it to show. So you could put it there and then cover it with an embellishment of some sort or ribbon if you wanted. I decided just to do mine on the wheel. Okay, I can still see some of these pencil marks. Oops, okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to flip it over and you're going to attach some dimensionals. Probably 2 is fine. Or you can do 4. It's up to you. However many you want. Just on either side of the brad. Okay, let's just move this one up a little bit. We'll do 4. Okay, you don't want to put any on the wheel because then it will stick down and it won't spin. And that's not what we want. Okay, so those are off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this hole with my brad right here. You can see it peeking through. And then that will show my picture. So some of it is cut off. I could have put those trees a little bit lower. So you might want to practice with that at first. Okay, so now I've got those dimensionals there. You're just going to hang on to it, okay? And you're going to lay it on top of your base and position it just, I want to cover up the edge of this DSP here. And just give that a little press. And then you can take this off and there our wheel will spin. Ta-da! Okay, so now I want to decorate this front part a bit with our other penguin before I attach it. I think it'll just be easier. Okay, so we have this cover piece of DSP here. So what I did is I used the polar bear dies to cut some snowbanks and a little iceberg here. So it's with the Arctic Bear set, you can buy the dies as well as a bundle. And I use this iceberg and this little sort of edgelit die to make my snowbank. Okay, so I'm gonna put this down at the bottom. And I guess I could raise that up with dimensionals if I wanted, but I'll just leave it for now. Okay. And then I'm going to raise this little iceberg. This is with some of our old shimmer paper, which was so, so beautiful. I used it a lot at Christmas just for sort of a frosted look. And unfortunately, we don't have it this year, so I hope they will consider bringing it back next year because it's so pretty and just looks so, gives things a nice frosted effect. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this here and it will stick over a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. And what I should have done, darn it, and I did this initially, I wanted to add this snowflake. See, when it comes to doing videos, it shows we're all human and make mistakes. So this snowflake is from our wonderful snowflakes, which is in the mini, and you get 24 of these in a package. And they come out like this, so they're very shiny on one side and the other side is white. So you could sponge them if you wanted. Use your brushes or your daubers or a sponge if you wanted to give them a different color. And they just pop out here, which is nice. They're very detailed. Okay, so what I wanted to do here was put my snowflake underneath. I wanted to line it up with that dot. So let me see if I can get this off just gently. Sorry for all the bloopers in this video. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a dimensional. I wonder if a big one would show. I think it might fit just perfect. So I'm gonna just line up one of these snowflakes here to cover my hole a little bit. Kind of like that. And then I will cover this here and put this back down. Okay, so typically I would have done that first, but that's how it goes. Okay, so there we go. All right, so last thing we want to do is add our little penguin guy. But before I put him on, I think I'm ready to put this on top of here. Okay, so to do that, you're just going to line up this hole again with that hole. Okay, so what you want to do is raise this layer a bit so your wheel doesn't get caught. And you want to do that with some dimensionals. But you don't want to put anything too close to this opening here. Otherwise, your wheel could get stuck. So I'm just going to put mine sort of on the lower sides and the very top and the very bottom. Okay. Or if you had, those adhesive foam strips, those would work too. But again, you don't want to get them close to your opening because it could get stuck on there, your wheel, and it wouldn't spin then, right? Okay, so I think that's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna line up this hole here with the hole in where the brad is there. You can find it like so. And then you can just gently line this up and push it down. Okay, so give it a little press. And then your wheel, oh, see, mine got stuck. Oh my gosh. Probably because of these side ones I put on. They were a little bit too close. This is really a video of bloopers. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's put that one down and see if that makes, there we go. That made all the difference. So now you've got your spinner. Yay! So you've got your season's greetings. You've got your snowman with the trees. And you've got your little guy on the sled. All right, so I probably could have left that not cut, but it's okay. It still works, yay! Okay. Whew. It's really not as complicated as I'm making it out to be. I'm just new at this technique, so mistakes happen and they can easily be fixed, so not to worry. Okay, so we're going to make our little penguin quickly, and I just want to show you how we are going to do that. We are going to use our penguin punch. So I have a piece of black here that I'm going to cut the body, punch the body of our penguin. Okay, so there's his body. And then with the smaller side of the punch, I'm going to cut a piece of basic white to make the inside of his body. Okay, so we can stick that on top of each other. Like so, and right away it looks like a penguin. Okay, so then from the stamp set, we're going to give him some eyes. Okay, out of black memento. And I'm just gonna get his nose. And his nose will be out of pumpkin pie. Okay, so I'll just quickly stamp that and give him a nose, like so. And then we have to give him some feet. So in the punch, we also have a penguin's little foot here. So we are going to punch that twice out of pumpkin pie cardstock. And then those I'm going to just attach with a glue dot, okay? So we will give him 2 feet here. And see where my glue dots are here. Oops. I did a Christmas class where I did a penguin card and everyone made 3 penguins per card. Anyways, in the end, I think we punched about 400 feet. It was crazy. All right, so now I did pre-stamp and cut again, out of the set, there's little accessories here, right? So you've got some antlers, a toque, and a scarf. So we are going to just put on a scarf and a toque. And again, on basic white, I just stamped those in Just Jade ink. So we'll stick our little toque on him and our little scarf. And then we can pop him up with some dimensionals. Just 2 probably, and we can place him wherever we like on the card. So I'm gonna sit him on top of this little lace flow here, like so. And there is your spinner card. So super, super fun. Anybody would love playing with this interactive card. And like I say, just practice where you have your images. Just make one for fun. Just, you know, your wheel, and make sure it lines up properly, and just that you have your dimensionals in the right spot so your wheel doesn't get stuck, because we definitely want to have fun with doing that. So there is our interactive card this week. Super, super fun. I wanted to mention, starting on November 16th, what's today? Today is the 15th, so tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a 3-day seasonal sale starting where certain items are discounted, so you can purchase cardstock at 10% off, stamp pads at 15% off, and dies are 20% off. So these particular Give It a Whirl dies are marked at 20% off. So if you're interested in purchasing them and giving this a try, now is a great time to get them at that sale price. And with this penguin set also, it doesn't just have to be Christmas. There's birthday, and you can make this card with so many other stamp sets too. Make a birthday card out of it, a Valentine's card, lots of different occasions you could use this spinner. And it's super, super fun just to play around with different images and different papers and see what you can come up with. So if you're interested, you're welcome to visit me at my website, christineludwig.stampitup.net. And you can also visit me at Facebook, Pinterest, and my new YouTube channel at Christine Stamping Spot. November host code is CV3VXW3W, and you're welcome to use that at checkout on my website at the online store. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and we will see you again next time. Bye for now.